Hello again. 97th day, second video. This shouldn't be too long. There is a third view I want you to have of Viking culture. I asked you to watch some of 13th Warrior. I asked you to watch some of Beowulf. And now I'd like you to go back to 1958. It's a rather old movie to still be, considered worthy, but it should be very easy to find. If you go to YouTube, as far as seeing the whole movie is concerned, I don't know if I would bother. I don't know how great a movie it is. But there's two scenes that I always like to show my students. The first one you'll find under the title The Vikings 1958. There is the channel EBDA3A3GABNY. Whoever that is, I thank them for putting this on there, and I thank YouTube for leaving it there. That is the very clip that I liked to use because of the set and the costumes. I think it is really much more realistic, certainly much more realistic than either of those others views that you've had. Not that it's that realistic, but the Viking ship that you see looks as authentic as I could imagine it could be. I like to point out that the Vikings in there, they look like my students' uncles and older brothers and fathers if they wouldn't shave, long hair and beards. When you look at the hair color, the skin color, and the way they look like real people. And in this part of the world, so much of our ancestors come from Northern Europe. The pony that the guy rides down, Kirk Douglas, rides down the steep hill, it's a pony, it's not a war horse. A pony would be so much more valuable an animal in that kind of a world than a war horse. I say war horse because in 13th Warrior, those huge Vikings are on these huge horses. And you see Norway's fjords. I like to ask the students, where was that filmed? I said, there's only really one place in the world that looks like that, and sometimes they know. So that clip, I'd like you to look at it for those reasons. And then the other clip that I like to use, it comes right after it in the movie. It's called The Vikings. On YouTube, you'll find it under the title The Vikings, Odin's Test. And the channel is capital F, capital R, capital S, ILENT. And again, thank you, whoever that is, for putting it there. That's very useful to me. Now, this is a mead hall. I point out to my students, this is not realistic. Hollywood always had to be making an entertaining movie, so it's bigger and better than life, certainly better lit. But anyway, I like to point out that these Vikings, they didn't have any forks, that's true. They ate with knives in their hands. There were no manners. The guy stands on the table and shouts to Odin. I guess that would be his way of saying grace, we would say now. And then when you see the test, well, that's no way to treat a lady, what they do there. I didn't read, just as I was leaving the site, I noticed that somebody had commented on it, no wonder women don't like this, or something like that. Well, the idea of a lady, I like to plant the seed there. The Vikings had no concept of a lady. A woman, sure. A girl, sure. They no doubt loved their women and they loved their girls and desired them. But the idea that a woman was a lady was it was unknown. Later on, I'll no doubt point out that we probably got that idea from the Arabs, some 200 years later than this. And then finally, when the guide says, I've got to drink more beer to do this, I like to point out that in the modern world that I live in, sadly, so often guys, young people, old guys, will say, well, if they drink more beer or drink more of something, then they can do something, that it somehow makes them better. This craziness that goes with drinking. We come by it honest. It's in that Viking tradition. But that doesn't mean it's good. And I'm sad to say that in my life I've had lost various students and friends because of that very business. So on that kind of sad note, cautionary note, I like to point out that, remember, this is not reality. Okay, see you tomorrow.